Welcome back, lads and ladettes, to episode 94. Philly and I are chipping away, putting in the work, back at it, slowly progressing to episode 100.
Little by little, we're making our way to 100. It's pretty cool, pretty exciting. It still feels like very weird to look at it and be like, man, we've almost done 100 episodes of the Lads podcast. But if you're not watching right now, if you're on YouTube, go over and check out on YouTube. Mcgee and I just like randomly got on here, both rocking red shirts, leather chairs. Mike set up the same, completely unplanned, but ended up working out pretty well here. So
it's the Sunday red,
both Nike Sunday reds too. So little Tiger action for you there. Just go check out our YouTube if you haven't. Just do it. Go subscribe to our YouTube. Go give it a subscribe. Come on.
And I just want to say, like, as we get to 100, Lollapalooza is happening. So maybe that by the time we get to 100, I think I'll be back at school because I'm leaving either next Wednesday or next Thursday.
Yeah.
So I guess like 3 days from when this episode will release on Monday. Mm-hmm. And then from there, a few more weeks in, once I get rolling and get my kind of schedule down pat and then know what I got to do, we can schedule something, do a little celebration.
Yeah, that not only for ourselves, episode 100 celebration for the boys. Yeah, that could be a good way to do it.
I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah, I back it. I think that's a good idea. We got 6 weeks essentially.
Yeah,
leading up to this, we got to figure out a Lollapalooza event. Maybe we could throw it just in your backyard. Keep it simple, keep it small.
Yeah,
and then record an episode in Waterloo together. Another episode back together. And celebrate 100. That could be a fun way to do it, Mcgee. I like it.
I think that's what we have to do. I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And like it will be for 100, whether it actually happens before or after. It'll probably be before because 6 weeks is a pretty long time from now. Mm-hmm. I think we do it early. If we're gonna do it, it's got to be early. But it'll
maybe
be
we do it the
100.
weekend of 100. So 100 will come out on the Monday. We do it that weekend if we can slide it in there.
That's a great idea.
So I think we do it on like Saturday night, and then Monday the episode comes out.
Oh yeah. No, we got to do Saturday, like during the day. I have like a little vision in mind. I have a vision in mind of what to like, how to make it good, how to make it memorable for all the supporters and friends, and maybe not family, but friends.
Okay.
So we'll do it up right.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Mcgee, let's get into our player battle here right away. I think we got a good one strictly because of the one guy. I'm pretty pumped about this one guy. He's got a great nickname. It's kind of like an iconic nickname. You know, like we've had some good nicknames along the way here, like Doug Killer Gilmore in last week's episode. Sid the Kid, all those kinds of nicknames. But this one is just like, especially if you're from Canada, and us wearing the red today, perfect for this guy.
Yeah,
it's a great nickname. It's something we could all, I don't even know, like how would you put it? It's something we can all resonate with, I guess. It's like you just loved. Imagine you were a kid and you grow up and like that becomes your nickname. Like this guy's nickname becomes your nickname. It's pretty incredible. So without teasing it anymore, episode 94, our player battle. We've had a player battle very similar to this one, but these aren't made up competitions by us. So you got to remember that these are competitions that we found that are legitimate competitions that exist in this world. They go on every single year. So the other one that's very similar is the cow chip throwing contest, where you throw a piece of cow poo as far as you can. This one is the cell phone throwing contest. So a little bit about the cell phone throwing contest here. It's originated in Finland. It's held in Finland every year. Finland is the home of the air guitar and wife carrying championship. So this one is also home to 2 very interesting competitions as well. It's also now home to the new national sport, cell phone throwing. It's determined in Savonlinna, Finland every year since 2000, and contestants throw for the longest distance and best technique with phones that are provided or donated. None of these phones that are provided or donated are functionable, and all of which are responsibly recycled afterwards. So it was a very key note in the competition breakdown. It's very, very simple. You just stand on the line and throw the phone as far as you possibly can. The furthest throw wins. I guess the best technique applies to that just in terms of how far you can throw it. But the prize for the winner, Mcgee, a brand new cell phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Finland's doing it right. I would love to visit Finland with all their cool competitions. Not only that, but then when Phil Pritchard came on the show, the keeper of the cup, and we said what was the best Stanley Cup party you've ever been a part of? He said Teemu Selanne.
Finland.
Finland.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
Finland
Actually,
is
I
just,
didn't even think about that. They're doing something right at least.
yeah, they are. And then they're always up there for like the best quality of life in the world. Like Finland's always near the top of that list.
Yeah.
So man, I don't know. Must be something in the water, but the Finns are they're a good group over there.
So for this competition, two athletes, I was trying to find some athletes that would be like kind of known or like interesting to put against each other. There's obviously some NFL guys, didn't really know much about them. Like I had never heard of them. I didn't know if you would have ever heard of them. And then there was a NASCAR driver who got thrown in there whose number was 94. And then the only NBA player, active or former, who wore number 94 was Evan Fournier. And I was like, I don't know. This guy doesn't really get the clicks. He's not that exciting of a player to be.
I had him on my fantasy team for a bit, but
fair enough.
And he got traded to the Celtics and fell off. But then the guy showed out in the Olympics.
Yes,
out of nowhere. You got a meme going around where Fournier's at the line and Dame Lillard's just like standing there like, what the hell? Like, Fournier was just going off that game, and he's like, the international players are just something. They're just a different animal in the same beast during those Olympic games, repping their home countries.
Yeah, exactly. But Mcgee, let's get into it here. Our two contestants, pretty good contestants, both hockey players, both former NHLers. Here we go. Our first competitor, he was drafted in the 10th round, 256 overall in the 1994 NHL entry draft by the Toronto Maple Leafs. After starting his career with the Leafs, he carved a 7-year NHL career for himself, also playing for the Phoenix Coyotes, Montreal Canadiens, Chicago Blackhawks, and the Washington Capitals. In 502 NHL games played, he totaled 160 goals and 126 assists for 286 points. A World Junior silver medalist and a Dell Hockey champion. A 5'10", 196-pound left winger from Voskresensk, Russia, Sergei Berezin. His competitor in the episode 94 cell phone throwing competition. He was drafted in the first round, 6th overall in the 1994 NHL entry draft by the Edmonton Oilers. Through a 19-year NHL career, he played for the Oilers, New York Islanders, Colorado Avalanche, and the Los Angeles Kings. In 1,270 games played, he totaled 386 goals and 456 assists for 842 points. A World Junior gold medalist, an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time World Champion gold medalist, and a World Cup gold medalist. A 6'2", 190-pound left winger from Banff, Alberta, Ryan, Captain Canada Smith. See, that name isn't like badass in terms of being like mean or scary, like killer or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just imagine your nickname was Captain Canada.
That's
like Captain
incredible.
Canada. You're the only person who grabs that nickname, Captain Canada, and that's what you're recognized for. Yeah. The only knock with it is that like the reason he kind of became Captain Canada is because he was always playing in the World Championships. And the World Championships, if you're like familiar with the NHL, happens basically during the NHL playoffs and at the end of the NHL playoffs. And he was always playing in them. So like for him to be playing in them so frequently, his NHL teams weren't doing that great.
Yeah.
But like still, Captain Canada, sick name. And it's not like that was like the only place that he won gold medals for Canada. He won them at the Olympics and he won them World Juniors, World Cup as well. So pretty cool accomplishment to get.
It is. And Ryan Smith was just such a likable guy. Like, yes. I feel like he was just a likable player. Man. And the one thing I noticed too is both of these guys that were 94 were drafted in 94.
Yes.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
But cell phone throwing competition, Sergei Berezin, Ryan Smith. Who do you think takes this one, Mcgee?
I think the person who takes this one is just the person who's able to flip that switch and just get to that next level. I've had a coach that threw a cell phone pretty hard once, shattered all over the floor. Yeah, just destroyed it, screaming at us, just spikes it right at his feet, and all the microchips and everything just like scattered. It was hilarious. Scared, like a little like, I don't know. It was a little strange at the time, but looking back, it's funny.
I can't think of any coaches of throwing anything. The only one I can think of is when we were in a tournament in Calgary and one of our coaches threw a water bottle at the ref.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So that's the only
did he
one.
get booted? Like, what was the outcome?
He didn't because the ref didn't see who threw it and he thought it was the trainer, so he booted the trainer.
That's
And the
amazing.
trainer just took it on the chin and just left.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
team player that trainer is. Oh my
yeah.
God. I think I got to give this one to Sergey Berezin, though. Something about the Russian. I just think he could just get angry and just huck that thing. I think Ryan Smith is too even keeled. Captain Canada, man. I don't think I don't know.
I want to go Ryan Smith here, honestly. Something about him being from Alberta just makes me think he's like this big, strong farm boy. You can just huck things around and like
Yeah.
I don't even know like if you grew up playing baseball or anything at all, but just him being in a farm, even if he honestly, I may be completely wrong. He may have just grown up right in the city, but like also Banff, Alberta, he was probably out there a bit. So like there's got to be some level of grit to him. If you're from Alberta in general, I feel like you're just a gritty person. So like I think Ryan Smith's got to take this one. I think he's just a big, strong boy who can just launch things.
Yeah.
I feel like he may get pissed off at technology too, because he's like, the
Kind of
fuck
an
is
old
this?
head.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Just
true. Just
launch it.
yeah. His font is too small. He's right now he's probably at the age where he's got to put on the reading glasses and kind of hold it out a little bit, like try to
Yeah.
see the words on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that, man. Oh, this is tough though. He may have swung me. I might have to go Ryan Smith as well on this.
I think he's just good guy, Captain Canada, like long career, big, strong guy, 6'2", 190 pounds
Mhm.
from Alberta. I think he's got that power behind him. I think it's Ryan Smith all day for me. I just don't think I can give it to Sergey Berezin.
I just, for the life of me, I just can't come up with like a good enough reason that it should be Berezin.
You just thought like Berezin was the guy.
Yeah,
Rode
and
with
strictly due to his Russian back, just because it's Russian. That's it.
Fair.
I had no actual reason behind that. I just thought I can't do it now though. It's got to be Smith. It's got to
Yeah.
be.
There it is. Episode 94, cell phone throwing champion, Ryan Smith. Ryan, Captain Canada Smith. But you were talking about likable athletes there and how you think Ryan Smith would be a likable athlete. I just finished watching before we started recording this, the BMW championship, the golf championship. And if you weren't watching, if you have a chance, go watch the highlights of it, because it is a prime example of just being able to hate on a guy and being so happy to watch them crumble. I feel kind of bad because like they're obviously a person too, but like out of all the stories that have come out about this guy, it makes him so easy to hate. And that's Bryson DeChambeau. He goes to a 6-hole playoff with Patrick Cantley, and Cantley was playing disgusting. Like this guy pulled off a comeback of all time to be able to push it to 6 holes. He had ice in his veins all the way through. Like on the 18th hole, DeChambeau was up 1 and Cantley had to sink an 18-foot putt to send it to a playoff and just drains it. DeChambeau missed like a shorter putt to be able to lock it up. And then as it pushed on, like Cantley was just knocking down putts. DeChambeau was crumbing and throwing it everywhere. And the best part was earlier in the round, probably around like, I feel like hole 13, 14, maybe, DeChambeau was about to like go up and swing, and Cantley was walking way off in the back behind DeChambeau. So not even like in his line of sight. DeChambeau steps away from the ball and just like disgustingly turns and looks at him and goes, "Patrick, can you stop walking?" And then like makes him stop. So he has to stop, and DeChambeau hits the ball. And even the commentators were like, why would he say that? Like, just step away from the ball and then step up again. Like, it doesn't make any effect. Like, why do you need to say something? And then from that point on, it just like, it was a story. Like, it was a theme of the rest of the competition, because they just kept saying like DeChambeau got in his own head from saying that, and he just crumbled. It was so fun to watch him go down. I know you don't watch golf as much, Mcgee, but like DeChambeau is just fun to root against. He just seems like a bad guy.
He does. I follow like a couple golf pages like Zyre Golf and all those ones.
Yeah.
But like I saw exactly like I read about exactly the same story you were talking about, how he told him to stop walking. And apparently that shot just like completely like fucked it and put it like 40 feet short, and like just was not a
like,
good shot anyway. Like
yeah.
so I don't know what this guy's doing. Everything I've read with the whole beef with him and Kepka, like just everything. He just seems like a baby, man.
Yeah, he does. He's such a mental midget, honestly,
Yeah.
like because he's the one who called out his driver supplier and basically said his driver wasn't good enough. And the driver supplier came back and like shot back at him and was basically like, what do you want us to do? Like, we do everything we possibly can for you, and nothing is ever good enough. Like, what are we supposed to do? And then that's when Kepka came out and they asked him in the interview about his driver. And Kepka was like, oh, I love my driver. Like,
Yeah.
just
Best
taking
team working
shots at
for
him.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's so funny because like everyone just rips on this guy and like the type of player he is. And even just watching him on the course, he just is like so hateable. But it started to get me thinking, like, who are some of the most hateable athletes, or who are some athletes that you hate the most, Miggy, or hated the most at least?
I don't know. This may be a little rude for me to say, but like it's just something about some like French Canadian hockey players kind of just like rub me the
Same
wrong
page,
way.
dude. Same page.
And like, okay, not all of them, because there are some French Canadian, like obviously everyone loves Mario Lemieux, and like there's a few other like French Canadian hockey players that I do enjoy. But I don't know, just something about the Quebecois just rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean that. Like I'm sure you guys are good people, but maybe just on the ice, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Because the one guy I wrote down here that like I specifically just came up was Alex Burrows.
Yeah. Hated him. Hated him.
And I honestly, he just a little prick, man. Just a little
Trying-
whiny, like kind of dirty. Yeah.
And you know who else is like a French Canadian? He's not from Quebec, but like he's from that party playing the QMJHL. Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
like
scumbag rat.
Yeah, little rat. That's right. It's just
I hate him. I hate him. Marchand is just such a greasy player and just so like disgusting. I'm trying to think of like some other French Canadian players that you just like hate. Like, who are some other guys?
let me see if I can just come up with a list here.
Because like Brad Marchand is just disgusting. Like, I hate that guy. He's a rat. And then you go to like
Jonathan Drouin, I kind of hate too.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, like these guys. Okay, so here's some other ones. So I obviously had DeChambeau. You had Alex Burrows. Another golfer, Patrick Reed. He is just, if you ever get a chance to just like go and search up articles about Patrick Reed and like the scumbag things he's done, go do it. It's like, oh, so cringy because he's like terrible. And like, this is a guy whose wife apparently has made a burner account that like tweets about all these things about him and like says how good of a player he is, and then rips his sponsors and rips other players and all that stuff. But he's a guy who like, you know, when you're out playing with your buddies and like you'll look at them and you've got a shit lie and they're like, just pull it out of there or whatever. Or like maybe you just pull a greasy one and just like push it a little bit away from the tree so you can hit it, whatever the case is. This guy does it on tour. And like, you're not allowed to do that. Like, it's a penalty. And he just like finds ways to like nudge it with his foot or like shit like that. It's greasy. So scumbag.
But if you're like a golf wife or like just stay out of it, man. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you
not
even
your husband wife. If you're just like a pro athlete's
spouse,
family, it's just family or friends, stay out of it.
Yeah. I'm saying specifically spouse in this case, because it's like you're the one who's reaping all the benefits of his playing career. Like, he's got a pretty unreal job where you get to go and like travel around the world with most scenic destinations, like only compete on weekends, get to go have a great grand old time, make millions of dollars by playing a game. Yeah. And then you're just full of complaints and negativity. Like, shut up. And just realize how fortunate you are to be in your shoes. Just shut up.
And the one thing too with golf is like all the destinations that they plan have to be nice weather.
Yeah.
Because you have to play outside. Like, if you were a hockey or a football or even like a soccer to an extent spouse, like they could play in or basketball. They could play in shit weather. Like you could end up in like
Cleveland.
right. You could live in Cleveland and then like have to deal with that weather all year round, or like Detroit or Toronto, or like the cities may be nice, but like the weather could be shit. Whereas like in golf, this weather is always primo. Like you're always somewhere where it's really, really nice. So like just that added factor of like, all right, shut your app. Like let the spouse play. Men's or women's sports, it doesn't matter. 100%. Just like shut up.
Like, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's our takeaway. If you're like dating a player or you're whatever, like you're going to go pro eventually, and then you have a girlfriend that's just like yapping, or you're a girl who's going pro in her sport, and your boyfriend is trying to get involved, like just tell them to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
That's
that is our takeaway. Like the thing is, you can internally or within your family or within your friends be upset about things. Don't take it public, because like it makes it harder for your spouse too. Like it
and
really,
you're so
really
far
does.
removed from every potential situation. Like
yeah,
it has absolutely zero to do with you.
Yeah,
and they're just sitting back collecting the benefits. So just probably live in a beautiful house, probably have a beautiful family.
Yeah,
like just shut up, enjoy it.
Just shut up. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, actually, that's not bad. Yeah, just shut the hell up.
Yeah,
take your money and go.
The last player that I want to mention here that most hateable athletes, I don't even hate this person, but it's fun to hate on them. It's not even like, oh, like it's something like I'm like passionately hate them or hate on them, but it's just fun to hate on them. And I try to like, I want to like make a distinction there of like hate them and hate on them, because like hate them, I feel like for me is like Brad Marchand. Like I hate that guy.
Hate their play, hate their personality,
just hate everything about them. Like just I hate that guy. Like I wouldn't even, it's one of those guys like I wouldn't want to come to the Leafs. Like I just hate him. Honestly, like he's just like a disgusting player. And like if he was doing that greasy shit in Toronto, I'd be like, fuck this guy. Like get him out of here. Like that kind of thing. Whereas like hate on them, I feel like is just to like have fun being like they suck or like whatever, just like chirp them all the time for like reactions or whatever. And that guy for me is LeBron James. He's so fun to hate on. Yeah. Because I feel like the reaction that you get is better than anything ever, because people love him so much that like the second you start to hate on him, they just lose their minds.
Yeah, that is true. I see you wrote down Kevin Durant here. He's another guy. Obviously love him as a player, but it's so fun to hate on him just because everyone's like, they're fake championships. Like, everyone's just giving this guy such a hard time. Then he had that like sit down interview with Draymond Green.
Yo, one thing I do respect a lot about Kevin Durant though. So he got caught with all those burners, right? Where he was like tweeting back at people.
Yeah.
If you ever just go through his Twitter, he just like does it on his public account, like not his private account. He just goes at people on his public account. So like, I respect that, because this guy is literally just like, who cares? Like, you want to come at me, I'll come right back at you. And he just defends himself and like attacks people on Twitter as well. And it's kind of like, you know what? He is a person too. Like he is out there. He does deserve some respect. So like, let the guy live his life. And he just goes at people on Twitter. So I respect that aspect of him.
I like how he's defending himself, but man, same kind of thing. Like, you're one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. Like, who gives a flying, pardon my French, fuck about what Joe Schmoe in their basement is saying about like your ability, dude? Like you completely changed the game. Like,
it's true, but it's still like,
I get he's human and it gets in your head. He does have the right, but like, talk about.
And is it not more entertaining when athletes go publicly and just like start going back at people?
It is. It's fun. Do you ever?
Because like we always want them to like have personality and be out in the public, but then like you think about hockey players, like they all just hide away. Imagine if Marner after this last playoffs, because he didn't have a very good playoffs and was getting ripped online, just started going at people's throats on Twitter, just like shit talking them and telling them how much of bums they are and how they don't understand hockey and all this stuff, just going at them because like that's how he legitimately feels. Like, it's like, okay, yo, chill a bit, but it's also like I respect it because it's like we're getting some kind of personality out of them.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good way to look at it.
Like that's kind of where I respect. As long as you don't like cross the line in terms of like being too insulting or like actually being demeaning, I think
Yeah,
it's
just
okay to like match the energy you receive.
yeah, I think that's acceptable as well.
Yeah.
To a
So
certain
that's
point,
just
though. To a certain point.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like there's a line, there's a limit of it, but like I think
It's
Kevin
got to
Durant
be
for the most
something
part plays
really.
within the limit.
I think he does too. It's got to be something really like aggravating though. If they're just like
Yeah.
calling you out for being shit, like you're not shit. Like
Yeah,
if
you're
he's
one of the
coming at
best
your
players in the
family,
world.
yeah. If you come out as like family or make it personal, then 100% go for it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. One thing that I've been doing that I want to talk about here because we talked about Ted Lasso and how good Ted Lasso is.
Yeah,
And side note, if you go to the Apple store right now, I think it's for anything you buy at the Apple store, they're handing out Ted Lasso stickers. Like
really.
it's like a meme, like those emoji, like Bitmoji or whatever the things that you get like through Apple that you can make of yourself.
Yeah.
They basically have those of Ted Lasso. So they're like
Oh, that's pretty
laptop
cool.
stickers of Ted Lasso. So
Nice.
if you have an opportunity or you need to go to the Apple store and you've been putting it off, go now because I think most Apple stores are handing out these stickers. So cash in on those because
Yeah.
Ted Lasso, Fire Show, the stickers, also pretty jokes. Grab a hold of those while you can. Um, but on the topic of TV shows, because it's been something that we've talked about on here, how I don't watch much TV, don't watch much movies.
Mhm.
I've been watching a lot more lately, and whether it be sitting down and watching a movie or actually watching TV shows, because actually a show that or movie that I watched, it was with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston.
Oh, I know what you mean. The Untouchables or something.
Yes, whatever that one was.
See,
It's
that one's
the
like
upside. The
the
upside.
upside. Yeah, okay. So that one is like a remake of a foreign film.
Yes, but
So
that one
I saw the
fire
original.
movie. Okay.
Great movie. Great
Yeah.
movie. I saw the original. So I didn't watch the one with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston because I watched like the French one or whatever it is.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't never watch that one, but the OG movie of the same thing was great too. So I can only imagine
Okay.
it. Love Kevin
Yeah,
Hart, love
I
Bryan
liked it a
Cranston.
lot. I thought it was a really, really good movie. So then
Mhm.
I was like, all right, here we go. Like I'm starting to get into TV shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously watched Ted Lasso, which sucked because I caught up to Ted Lasso. And I
Yeah.
went to watch the next one and was like, oh,
Comes out tonight though, I think.
no, Friday. I watched the most recent one. So
okay, I haven't watched the
you've
most
got
recent
an
one yet.
episode to
I'm
catch up to.
behind. Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
you've got an episode. I watched it yesterday during the day. I ended up catching up and watching the most recent one.
Nice.
But another series and that I actually watched, and I started last Sunday. I put in a shift on this show.
Yeah.
Outer Banks. I started last Sunday and I have one episode left and I'm going to watch it tonight after we record, like before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Outer Banks, incredible show.
Dude, okay, so I did the same thing. I like put it off and I've obviously heard all the talk about it and yada yada yada. So I finally decided I what like the same thing. Like, hey, this is my time. I'm going to start watching it.
Yeah.
So I started watching it and it probably took me like three or 4 days to watch this.
To watch it. Yeah.
Watch 2 seasons. So I watched all of it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. I have a few takeaways.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Let's
maybe we'll try to like not give spoilers.
No.
In the best we can, but let's break it down.
Yeah. One, I hate Kiara.
Yeah, she's so back and forth, so flip-floppy. Yeah.
She kind of just fucks everybody over all the time.
Yeah.
Just with her antics. You know what I'm talking about? When she's like yelling at the guy and then everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing, John B is like the slitheriest guy. Like, there's no way he just keeps on backing himself into a corner and then just finding a way to like, he's just so slippery.
Here's one thing, which on to your point, he's the greatest escape artist I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
he's 16 years old and is just like the greatest escape artist ever I've ever seen. It's so impressive.
It is impressive. This guy just
because like there's another scene where another guy in there's like in season 2 I was watching and there's another scene where the guy is running from a situation and he's kind of like in a swamp area.
Yeah.
And he gets caught immediately. And all I could think was like, if that was John B's getting out of that somehow. Like there's no way he's getting caught.
Also, I honestly just pisses me off that they call him John B.
Yeah. Why do they got to call him John B? He's the only John.
Yeah. You're the only John. And John B is longer than just saying John.
John. Yeah.
And
just call him like,
okay, even if his friends, even if his buddies or whatever want to call him John B, sure.
Yeah.
But for Sarah Cameron, like his girlfriend,
Yeah.
Why is she still calling him John B?
Yeah, I know. It's
like they're dating. Why are you? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is kind of funny though, because like he just like occasionally calls her Sarah Cameron.
That's true.
And it's her full name.
I know.
And other people in the show just call her Sarah Cameron. But you know what I actually kind of like realized too is it's not just John B's friends that call him John B. It's everyone in the entire show.
The police officers, like
random people in random cities that are like
Sarah's dad. Like it's like everyone's calling him John B. It's like what the hell?
B is just like the initial of his middle name.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
not even a last initial.
No.
Like John R would make more sense.
Yeah. Because imagine like there was so like when I went to Western, there was Zach Phillips and Zach Pollock. So neither of us could go by like Zach, and then neither of us could go by Zach P or like an initial. And then it ended up just being like kind of a shit show because it was like Philly and Polly. Those were our nicknames.
Yeah.
But like you would like in high school, like we had like different Zachs and you just like narrow it down to last names and shit. But there's no other John. Like, why can't he just be John? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. That's weird. I don't know what they were trying to do or like what did they have in mind? Like, I don't know. Why? Just why? Why?
Okay, what else? What other takeaways do you got here?
I'm just trying to think. Like,
I hate the Kooks.
The Kooks suck. I feel honestly,
so over the top.
They all are over the top. Rafe is just such a meat dick, and then he's just dumb. And then I kind of feel bad, honestly, for Topper.
No,
I kind of feel bad for him. He just can't catch a break, man. This guy like just cannot catch a break.
No, he can. He just keeps putting himself in the situation to not catch a break.
I guess
like he keeps doing it to himself. Like in that second season, he played himself in the second at the start of the second season. Like I can't say why, but like he just comes back and decides to like insert himself in the situation for no good reason at all. And just is like, yo, I have to be a part of this. And next thing you know, he's just like screwing himself over again. He plays himself again. And it's like, I don't feel bad for him because part of the problem was the way they portrayed his character in the beginning of the first season. And like he set himself up to be just another one of the Kooks. And like I feel like when you start watching the show, like you just associate him with the Kooks as it goes along. Like he never really does anything to distinguish himself as being like a different kind of person. And then I just like mentally associated him with the Kooks, and I hate the Kooks because like they are all so over the top, like preppy frat boy shit like that all the time. And like what I mean is these guys are like there's like a drug dealer in the town who names them all Country Club. They all are wearing like golf shirts and like pastel like colors all the time, riding like sick pimped out cars. Their parents are so snobby and like they have these crazy boats and stuff. And then the way it's not even just like what they say, it's like the way they talk, like they're like mannerisms is just like so annoying. And it's like, annoying. Oh my God, it gets on my nerves. And then I just hated them.
Do you want to cause a little bit of a controversy right now?
Yeah. Why not? Let's go.
Okay.
Here's
the hot take.
Okay.
If you're in Canada, frats are fucking stupid.
You think? Yeah. I don't really see any purpose of them.
Right?
It just like soaks your money for like 4 years.
For what? Like, are you paying to make friends? Like, you're not like by the time you're legal in first year for the most part.
And you know what's like kind of funny is that me and my friends, like none of us were obviously part of frats, but we had friends who were in them.
Yeah.
And we just like went to all their parties with them. Like went to all their bar nights and just like paid to go to the bar that night. You know what I mean? So like we paid like the same that we would have paid to go to the bar any other night, but we just like went with them as opposed to like not going with them. And like we saved a significant amount of money and we had all the same friends and partied with all the same people and didn't have like bullshit meetings.
Yeah.
I guess it's just like a networking thing. I don't know.
I don't know either. They just seem so dumb to me.
there's no like merit behind them in Canada. Like in the US, it's like a tradition. Like it's a thing. It's like something you're supposed to do.
Yeah, in Canada, it's just almost like a wannabe kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like you see a bunch of like TFM shit, or you see like
And
some
not
stuff
all
online, and you're
schools
like, oh, I'm
have
gonna do that.
them. Like, does
Yeah,
Laurier have them?
Laurier has a few frats.
Really?
I just don't. I don't see the draw. I don't see the point. What's the
Yeah.
point?
I don't see it either. I don't know. I just
And
never
half
had
the
any
people in
interest.
frat, and it's like not even like frats in the States where they're just massive old beautiful homes, like old like
No.
crazy things where the whole frat like lives there. It's like maybe the president, like one other guy. It's just a normal house that they just happen to base out of.
In fairness, in Western, like there was like 15 to 20 people that were all like on the board or whatever of the frat that lived in them. Because
Yeah.
like I know one of them, one of the guys who was a high up in one of the frats was in my film studies group. He was like a
Okay.
really, really nice guy, like very nice. And like I actually became friends with him after and would like talk to him, hang out with him, go to the bar with him, whatever. Like he would actually just come to my house and hang out.
Yeah.
But like we had to film some shit and we had to film it at his house because of the setting of like the video that we were doing. And like we went there and there was like 10 other guys like all hanging out in the house. But it's like you said, it was like their house. So my house that I lived in was 2 separate units. So there was 6 of us in the bottom one, 5 in the upper one. So there's 11 there anyways. You could have basically just like taken their house and like put it in ours. And it was just like a normal house. It was just split into 2 units.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there
Yeah.
was nothing special about it. It was just a house like on a corner.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know what you're paying for, and I don't understand the draw.
And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money too.
And it's just I just don't understand, because like you got to think one of the main draw, like one of the main pull factors why people join frats in the States is like drinking age is 21. You join a frat in your first year or whatever, and you can party and like have a kind of an in, I guess. But with Canada, why?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I don't get it.
So maybe if you're a frat guy in Canada, like hit us up, let us know what's the appeal.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to hear
put
what
a poll
it
on our
is.
story and see if we can cause some division in the comments or something like
Okay.
that.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, so I guess to finish up about the Outer Banks, if you are looking for a show on Netflix to watch, to binge, go and do that one. If you like some like kind of adventure and like it's, how would you describe it? Like it's a little bit like intense, like
it's an intense show. It's definitely not what I thought it was going to be.
No, same.
I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like another river. Because I was told by my girlfriend, like, oh, you got to watch Outer Banks. And I was like, I had seen it before a bunch of times. Never really thought it would interest me. Like, I'm like, not for me. I thought it would be like another Riverdale or just some sort of like kind of hokey thing.
I never seen Riverdale.
Neither have I. I just
okay.
kind of.
So that's what I thought too. I never.
It's another teen drama. Like,
yes.
It's just like another stupid thing.
That's kind of funny because I never saw Riverdale, but I also had the exact same thought of it's going to be like Riverdale, and like Riverdale just didn't have the same hype. So I was like,
but I caved. I finally watched it, and it was not what I wanted. It's not what I thought it would be in the best way. Like it's it surprised me in a good way.
Yeah, I couldn't stop watching it. Honestly,
neither could I.
I just kept going.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's cool lifestyle they got going down there.
Crazy lifestyle they got going down there.
Yeah,
just like no parents, like just living the Pogue life.
Yeah, Pogue for life.
Yeah. But it's also like there's just always some crazy like action going on. Like there's like fighting and like intense scenes. Yo, actually, I do have to say one thing, and like I don't think this ruins anything at all. There's a scene where someone gets attacked by a gator. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that not just like the dumbest fucking scene you've ever seen?
Yeah.
They get it. It's a 16-year-old in the show. 16-year-old kid gets attacked by a gator.
All the 16-year-olds look like they're 26, and like they're
all just shredded and like
they're all just big bodies. Like there's no way. I think John B's like 28 in real life.
Yeah, he is.
And like I think a few of them are like 99s, but even that's like I think the youngest people are like 99s or 2000s.
Yeah, so it's mostly
even
like
then,
98s and 97s.
Yeah, you're still like not 16, and you haven't been for a long time.
And they're just big, like they're built. But this guy gets attacked by a gator and starts fighting the gator in the water and is like rolling around with this gator. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like someone comes over to help him to like fight the gator off. And they're holding this huge knife, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're just like blindly stabbing into the water as this person fighting the gator is just like in a bear hug with the gator rolling around in the water.
So they got good timing to time that every time the gator's back is up. Bah, bah.
Yeah. And they're not missing either.
Yeah, there's like a 50-50 chance you're hitting right in the dead of his back, like square back. Because those things are rolling quickly, doing their barrel roll gator thing. And you're just blindly just stabbing straight down at it.
Yeah. And then he just gets up after the gator slithers off from being all stabbed and shit.
Yeah.
And he's just like wraps a handkerchief around his leg with gator bites and is good to go. Like he hobbles for like 30 seconds and then just walking.
They never talk about it again after that too.
No, it's just like one and done. It just happens. It's one and done. Fill time.
Gets his calf like torn up or whatever, and then the next episode, like not a single mention. Like you got to think that at some point in a lull in conversation, you'd be like, "Hey man, remember that time you got jumped by a gator?" Like not once do they talk about it. Another thing I found funny, just while we're picking holes at this show. Yeah. Another thing I found funny was like getting shot and like dying and coming back to life,
and then just coming back to life.
Yeah, coming back to life.
I may have to cut that one out because maybe a little. Do you think that's a little bit of a spoiler? Or?
It might be a little bit of a spoiler, but who cares? Like I've seen it, you've seen it. I'm selfish that way. Whatever.
Okay.
And coming back to life. First of all, like Lindsay did some like research. Apparently, there's only 10 known cases ever of people being like resuscitated after flatlining. So one, that's not like a common thing, and two, she's just like like oh no, like and she's still running around, running away from the cops.
Pulls the exact same move. Okay, let's just go forward without saying the names and we'll just like play it off that way because then people will like maybe not know. I'll beep out the name. I'll leave the part that you said. But she just continues on just like the other guy who got attacked by the gator. Right? Because like she
died 10 minutes ago.
Comes back and then it's just humming along being chased by cops.
Yeah. Like, and does their friend group doesn't think to stop and be like, holy shit, like you literally died.
Yeah. And you know what's funny too is that there's a scene where they go out in public and they go to a restaurant and she has a bullet hole in her shorts and blood drenched on her shorts and like stained on her leg. Mm-hmm. And not a single the person there says anything.
Are you okay? Yeah,
like she's covered in blood and has a bullet hole in her shorts and they just like keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah.
Let's talk about some resiliency. Oh my god. Yeah.
But
speaking of for life, Hogue for life, just other shit for life. Yeah. Let's get into some this or that's. This and that. This and that. This and that. This and that. This is a dog. That is a cat. This is a dog. All right, so earlier this week, this is what made me think about it. This isn't one I found online, but it was something that happened to me that actually made me like think about doing these this or that's this week. And Mcgee, this one is basically what happened was, and it's actually kind of funny because the reason I thought about it is that it happened on back-to-back days. So on Tuesday, I woke up an hour and like 15 minutes before my alarm went off. And when I woke up and saw my phone, I was like, yes. And I felt so relieved. And I went back to sleep, had like another hour and a bit of sleep, woke up to my alarm and got going. The very next day, I woke up about 5 or 10 minutes before my alarm and was so pissed off when I woke up and saw that I had 5 minutes until my alarm. So do you feel the same? Like, or would you like pick waking up an hour before? So I guess my question would be, would you rather wake up an hour before your alarm or 5 minutes before your alarm? I think I'd rather wake up 5 minutes before my alarm. Because knowing me, I always, whenever I wake up like with a lot of time before my alarm, either I get pissed off that I can't go back to bed, or when I do go back to bed, I end up sleeping through my alarm. Oh. So I always sleep longer. And then the worst is when you wake up like at your alarm or whatever, and you're still kind of half asleep. And I've done this a few times, which is not good. But a few times I've like been really tired and then kind of like woken up kind of half asleep and then either turned off my alarm or like pushed my alarm back and then going back to sleep without noticing. And then I'm like, fuck, like I'll wake up. I'm like, where the hell is my alarm? And I guess like half asleep Ryan fucked it. So yeah, but I'd rather do 5 minutes before because it's like, oh, that's great. Like I don't have to deal with the alarm sound. It's around the same time you want to wake up anyways. Yeah, I go 5 minutes before every day of the week.
I go an hour before because I feel like when I wake up and I see that, I know like there's one choice in it for me, and it's to go back to bed because I usually have a pretty easy time falling back to sleep at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I do fall back asleep and I wake up at my alarm, I feel like I actually did get some kind of decent rest in that little time period. Whereas when I wake up 5 minutes before, I feel like there's some small short moment where I have like this mental battle of, do I just stay awake until my alarm goes off?
Yeah.
Or do I get up now, or do I try to fall back asleep and then I waste some time and then I end up falling asleep and then I have like 3-4 minutes of sleep, my alarm goes off again, and then I'm like, oh fuck, and then I'm like cheesed again. Whereas like if I get up with that 5 minutes, then I'm like, oh, I wasted 5 minutes of sleep, like I could have been 5 minutes less tired, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Whereas that hour before, I'm just like, I'm good to go, let me just sleep for this hour, get it up. And like the other thing is, I feel like it's just like an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, I've got some time until it's there. And like, you don't have like that panic.
It is a good feeling. It is a good feeling.
So I would go with that one. I would go with an hour before.
I think I'm sticking with, it's a good, I like your reasoning. It is like always a good feeling to wake up an hour before and know you have the option to either get up or go back to bed. But I think 5 minutes before consistently, assuming that I'm going to wake up fine and not be like a grouch, then yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right. The next one we have here is, would you rather win 50 million, but everyone always asks for money, or win 25 million, but you stay completely anonymous?
It's easy for me. I think I just go 25 million, stay completely anonymous. Because the thing is,
I'm
like,
the same way.
You just have the freedom to do whatever you want. I would have the freedom to pay for houses or help my family or whatever, and nobody has to ever know, and I can stay quiet. Whereas the 50 million, you're just going to be constantly annoyed to give money to people, and like depends on the kind of person you are or whatever, but maybe you'll feel inclined to give money to people, or you'll just get really pissed off that people are asking you, so you'll start giving money away so that they stop asking you, and it's just like going to be a whole hassle.
It is, and it says everybody too. That's a lot of people, random guys on the street asking for money.
Yeah,
it would be too much of a burden carrying that around. Like it may open yourself up to if everybody knows, it may open yourself up for like a robbery or like some sort of like
the other thing too here, Mcgee, is like 50 million is a lot of money, obviously. So cutting it in half is like a significant amount, but like 25 million is nothing to scoff at.
No, not at all.
Like you could do some damage with 25 million. You could set yourself up very, very well for the rest of your life with $25 million.
I agree. I think it's got to be 25. Just getting berated with, that's a quick way to ruin relationships, friendships, family, even. That's just tough, and I wouldn't want any part of that.
Okay, next question. Would you rather know how you're going to die or know when you're going to die?
Definitely how. I think knowing when is that's just like
eerie.
Recipe for disaster. It is eerie.
Yeah, I'm
how could page. How could be bad too, though, because it's like it may be like, oh, you die like in the waters. Then what? You're just avoiding water for the rest of your life. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's like on one hand, like if you know when you're going to die, like you almost have like a clock going of like, okay, I'm going to die at 68 years old in February. So you have like a clock of like always thinking about that's when you're going to die. But like, okay, you know what? Actually, I think I might have just like mentally twisted this in my own head into going to know when you're going to die. Because the thing is that knowing how you're going to die is a huge toss up, because it's just like what you just said. If someone says you're going to die in a boating accident, like I'm going to deprive myself of boating for like as long as I possibly can until it becomes obviously necessary to where I die. Because every time I'm like, I don't know, is this the time that I die? I don't know. And like, I don't want to do it. And then like, obviously at some point you're going to end up doing it and then you die. So like knowing how you're going to die could be very, very tough, because like, oh, okay, maybe you find out like you're going to die of cancer. And then it's like, you just,
it could be, you're going to die, you're going to choke. You're gonna choke on food.
I can drink my water right now and choke and die. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'd be like stressing about drinking my water.
I'm not thirsty anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like when you're going to die, the one thing is, the Tim McGraw song of Live Like You're Dying.
Yes.
There
Yeah,
you
of
go.
course.
Live like you're dying. Like, you're going to die at this point.
Just
So,
enjoy
like
it.
I have
Enjoy
this
the
amount of
ride.
time to get in there. I'm just going to live as happy as I can until that point, not stress about anything because that's my time limit. That's where I have until, and I'm just going to live it up until then. So I
I
think
love it.
that's like the adverse way the
I
other
think
way
I'm
to
gonna
go
go
about it.
one as well. That reminds me of this, like, oh, this is a movie I watched a while ago. I think Justin Timberlake's in it, but it's a movie where everybody has like a life clock, and
Okay.
it's like, I guess it's like, I think it's like embedded in their forearm, or like you have some like clock, but you can. I think the rich people, you have to buy time, and then the rich people have like a lot of time, and the poor people
Right.
obviously can't afford it, so their clocks are low. And then you can transfer time, like if you like, I guess you can give some other people like your time.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called, but oh god,
Interesting
it's
concept.
called In Time.
Oh, wow. Wow. Would you look at that?
Yeah, it is Justin Timberlake. Yeah, it's a good movie, man. It's a good movie. I remember enjoying it, but I'll have to watch it again. Just is that Emma Stone? Who the hell's I don't know who is it he's in it with, but it's a decent movie.
All right. Next question here. Always go barefoot or always go topless?
That's so tough. Oh
No
man.
shoes, no shirt, but I still get service.
You know what? I'm gonna go always go barefoot. Because you can go, is barefoot like no shoes either, or just no
I
socks?
think no shoes.
That
Like
changes things.
barefoot, bro. Barefoot.
Oh, either way, you're royally screwed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I go always go topless
Okay.
because I got mad at people for having exposed feet at the bars.
Yeah, the flip flops at the bar. Now
So I
you're
think I'm
gonna
gonna
be
always
barefoot
go
guy.
topless. Yeah, you don't want to
But
be
what if your
barefoot,
tarp's
guys. That's
off at the
disgusting.
bar?
You know, my thought process is being topless all the time may motivate me to just have the best body ever. Because I think if you're just
Actually,
a
I like
chiseled,
that. I like
if you're a
that.
chiseled guy, I think you can get away with it.
Okay.
If you're just like really ripped and just like, damn, like, he's like, oh, that guy looks good. You go to a fancy restaurant, like, oh, like,
Mhm.
it's nice to look at. This guy's like in good shape. Like, good for him.
Yeah, fair enough. I like
But
it.
maybe some internal motivation. Whereas
Okay.
barefoot is just inexcusable.
Yeah. All right, I like that. I'm on the same page actually. There's no disputing that one, just topless it is. And then you've got one more here, McGee, for
I've got
us.
one too. I was at a little like park day today with some friends. Shout out Dan Kreiderman, longtime listener of the show. Guy who hooked me up with my current student house, passed it on down to me. He's moving up to BC to he got a transfer at work and starting his new life in Vancouver. So congrats, lad. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Have a great time. But he kind of was talking about potato chips versus tortilla chips and what you'd prefer for the rest of your life. So I just thought that'd be a good this or that. Potato chips or tortilla chips for the rest of your life.
Do they have to be plain potato chips?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, then potato chips, because there's so many varieties of potato chips.
Yeah, but I
Okay,
think that like tortilla chips are like Doritos too. Doritos are classified as tortilla chips.
okay, but
I
they're
think
still
it's
like plain tortilla chips, hint of lime tortilla chips, Doritos.
Mhm.
That's about it.
but there's also different flavors of Doritos. I think that you could have like oh sorry,
But like the
there's a
flavors of
spider.
Doritos are still limited.
There's a spider on my wall. I gotta get him.
But like if you go potato chips, McGee, like you've got all remember when we went down the whole breakdown of potato chips and the different flavors of potato chips, and like we could literally have like a potato chip draft of like the best potato chips ever.
We could, but I wouldn't want to eat potato chips with like sour cream and salsa. Like think about nachos. You can never have nachos again. You
You
got
could though,
like
because hold on, like you could find a way to get like different kinds of potato chips that are made different ways that would actually work with that. I think like even if you just went with like plain unsalted potato chips, you could make nachos and it would be acceptable. You could also use hell of a good dip. You could acceptably put cheese on like original potato chips, I think.
I don't
And
know.
then
I
there's also
just think
so many flavors. There's just so many flavors.
I still think I'm sticking with my guns, man. Maybe I'm just calling me a health nut, but I think I'm tortilla chips till the day I die over potatoes. Oh man, because I think the difference is one that they're just made of corn. Tortilla chips are just corn based.
Yeah. Still.
That's oh god.
I don't know. I just think like so many flavors. And then even if you want like the tortilla aspect, like, or the nacho aspect or whatever, you could make it work with different kinds of potato chips. Whereas like tortillas, like what I'm assuming is that you can't just go out and create new flavors of tortilla chip. You have to just go with the pre-existing ones. Okay. Like let's say like the types of tortilla chips that already exist, you have to rock with those. There's just limited options. Like it's very good. You can make many kinds of nachos, but it runs out. It'll run out of some kind of interest like to you.
All right. You've convinced me. I think I'm team potato chip now.
Yo, here's the other thing, Mcgee. Remember when you were in elementary school and you'd like trade with some people shit at lunch and you end up taking like Lay's original and you like throw them on your sandwich?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever do that with tortilla chips?
No.
Right. So like even that, like you can just throw that in there and like that's a whole different aspect. That's a whole new ball game, man.
That is. Oh fuck. They're definitely more versatile, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with potato chips.
Right.
So that was the last this or that. But I had a little this or that on our Instagram the other day.
Yeah.
And it was whether Tom Cruise, for those who don't know, Tom Cruise has one tooth that's centered in his mouth. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can easily just Google it and look at pictures of Tom Cruise. This guy's got like a center tooth. So my question to everybody was, does Tom Cruise's center tooth make his face more or less symmetrical?
I'm going to be honest. I think you found like you have to look at it a certain way to think it's centered though. I don't disagree that it is centered, especially when you look at his nose in comparison, but it's not dead center.
The image I found was pretty biased. Like
it was insanely dead center.
I know. So I did kind of skew the.
Hey, like here's the thing. If you were to just Google and you never heard what Mcgee just said, you Googled Tom Cruise smiling or just Tom Cruise whatever, you would probably look at it and just think like maybe it's slightly off, or you wouldn't even think about it at all. But because Mcgee said his tooth is centered, I think it's in my head that it is. And then when you see the photo that Mcgee put on the story, it's so insanely centered. But like when I'm looking at these other photos now, Mcgee, after hearing what you had said, his tooth is centered. You just have to look for it to be centered. Because the way his nose is, it points like over that tooth.
Yeah, the nose, it does point.
Okay, so what is your answer though?
There's this one picture where it's clearly like a mirrored image and the tooth is just like
directly in the middle.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But my answer, I said more symmetrical just to stir the pot and get things going, but I actually think that it makes it less symmetrical because it's obviously the one tooth is a like there are two front teeth. So having one front tooth of the two right in the center automatically makes it less symmetrical because you still got another identical
you have the
tooth.
Same number of teeth.
Yeah.
Same. I agree. I think it makes it less symmetrical as well. Because the thing is, like, he doesn't have like one tooth and then like those two like smaller teeth on either side of your like big teeth.
There's
he doesn't have like one and then
there's
one more big tooth. Yeah, so like it'll definitely less symmetrical. Yeah,
but the poll was close. It was close.
Yeah,
I mean, less symmetrical was running away with it for a while, but then it got caught back up. And I honestly haven't looked at the results recently, but I'm pretty sure less symmetrical won.
All right, well, Mcgee, I think that does it for episode 94. Yeah. What an episode it's been. We're moseying on down to episode 100 here. We got some things coming up, some things we're working on. So we'll get those out to you guys as soon as we can. Our takeaway for this episode, Mcgee.
If you're the partner of an athlete, leave them alone. Let them do their thing.
Yeah, let them be. If you're dating any kind of athlete that is going to go pro, whether you're a guy, a girl, whatever the case may be, however you identify, if your partner is going to be a professional athlete or a high level athlete in some way, shut up. Let them be. Let them do their
Yes.
thing. Don't get in the way.
Yes.
Unless they ask you to, don't do it on your own. Don't go out there and do it. That is our
Yeah.
takeaway for episode 94. Another one, watch Outer Banks. Be prepared. It is a little bit cringy.
It's a little
It is a
hokey.
little bit like, yeah, but it is, I found it very, very
Entertaining.
enjoyable. And I usually
sure.
see the shit that's like hokey and stuff and be like, not for me. This one, I was like, yeah, I can't stop watching this. Like, I just have one
100%.
more episode tonight to finish off season 2. I'm pumped to watch it, but I'm also sad because then there's no more episodes to watch after that.
Yeah. Can't wait for season 3.
Yeah, exactly. But Outer Banks, I definitely recommend watching it. I really enjoyed the show, and I think people out there would enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that about does it for episode 94. Mcgee, what do you got to say?
I gotta say, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is an enjoyable show. Back to school soon for all those who are going back to university. So have fun, Philly. One last question I wanted to ask you before we let go and end the
Yeah.
episode is in honor of a back to school thing. One, Lollapalooza, celebrating our episode 100, will be happening.
Yeah.
And two, I want to know what's something that was like a go-to staple for you, like going back to school. What was something that like you had to do or something that you wanted to do, look forward to most about getting back to school?
I don't know. I always remember just the feeling of getting back to school and the weather being nice and like wanting to spend time outside. So like I guess along the lines of that, there was 3 things and they kind of all end up tying together because usually, like you said last episode, they kind of led to each other. One was like playing sports outside with my friends, basketball, football, whatever the case was, spike ball, hanging out outside, like getting to just get back and be outside. And then the other thing would be day drinks,
Yeah.
hanging out at someone's house, in someone's front lawn, someone's backyard, day drinking. And then the other thing specific to Western, because that's where I went to school, Barney's. It was an outdoor patio. It was always bumping. You just go there, like they'd have sports on the TV, sit outside at booths, at the tables, whatever it was, bringing food, pitchers on nonstop. And then you go to someone's house that night, just working your way around. And it was just so nice to be outside, hanging out with your friends, back drinking again. So I guess like that's a very generic answer, but like sports, day drinks,
Sports, beers, and the
Barney's.
outdoors.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
How about
unreal.
you?
I think the same thing, man. I'm just hoping to take advantage of that backyard. It's gonna be good to see all the roommates again.
Yeah.
Planning Lollapalooza. That's what I gotta go on. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking
Fair
forward
enough.
to. But for all those heading back to school, stay safe, have fun, enjoy the freedom away from the parents. We know that can get kind of annoying at what 19 to 23 or 22, whatever the age demographic may be. But yeah, have some fun on your own, make reasonable decisions. That's all from me.
All right, Miggy. Great episode 94. You got this one.
Yeah. As always, catch us next week. Same time, same place, same lawn chairs. Cheers, lads and ladettes.